Summer of Steven, week 1. Wow, it was just a great week of episodes. It was Steven Floats, Drop Beat Dad, Mr. Greg, Too Short to Ride, The New Lars, and Beat City Drift. All of them, almost all of them, fantastic episodes. It was just Summer of Steven has shown some huge promises. I think just because of these episodes, or just because of a handful of these episodes, that season 3 is going to take over my spot as favorite season. It used to be season 1, but now it's season 3, definitely. And I'm just going to review the first week real quick. Alright, so the first episode of the week was Steven Floats. Steven is finally home after the entire cluster arc. He's glad to be home. He gets caught up with everybody, or he gets caught up with Sadie, and he's gonna get a fresh donut in the morning. And he's just so excited. He does a Goku jump, but he gets stuck up in the air. And the crystal gems keep him company all night. And eventually he finds out his powers are tied to his emotions, and he gets back down, and he gets the fresh donut of the day. So we've got a new power. He's got a jumping ability, and that episode was really great. Drop Beat Dad, Marty returns, and Sour Cream is trying to throw a rave, and Marty gets caught up with Sour Cream, but it turns out he was just using it to advertise Guac-Cola, which is like this crappy guacamole soda, and that makes Sour Cream mad, and he kicks Marty out, and Marty gives Greg a check for, I think, like $10 billion it was, and Greg's a millionaire now, a bazillionaire actually. And Sour Cream realizes his only true dad is Yellowtail, and that's a good message for those with stepdads and stepparents. That one was also a pretty good episode, but none of the episodes in this week compare to Mr. Greg. Mr. Greg was the musical that's been hinted at by the crew, and it was just a phenomenal episode. Pearl and Greg finally ended their beef with each other. And since it's a musical, my favorite song in the entire episode was Both of You. It was an amazing song, an amazing episode, by far the best episode on this list. And this episode is rivaling Mirror Gem and Ocean Gem and The Return and Jailbreak as my favorite episodes of all time. And the song Both of You is rivaling Strong in the Real Way, Stronger Than You, and We Are the Crystal Gems extended theme as my favorite song. All of them are rivaling each other. And then on Wednesday we had Too Short to Ride. Too Short to Ride was really funny. Steven has been... Oh yeah, by the way, in the last episode, since Pearl was there, Steven is giving gifts to all the crystal gems with all the money that Greg has. And he gave Pearl the gift of going to Empire City. And now he gives Peridot and Amethyst their gifts. He gives Peridot a tablet so she can have like those old lemon enhancers she used to have. And he takes Amethyst to Funland. And him, Peridot, and Amethyst all go to Funland together. And they're all too short to ride the roller coaster, but Steven and Amethyst just shapeshift and just go on the roller coaster and have fun. And then Steven and Amethyst are just shapeshifting and riding all the rides. They're having fun. And then they realize that Peridot can't shapeshift and that Peridot supposedly don't have powers. But at the end of the episode, Peridot does get a power. She's a metal bender. It's really, really cool. And Too Short to Ride was funny. And let's see, the next episode was The New Lars. We finally got some character development for Lars, however minor it was character development. Steven he used his dream powers to go into Lars's body because he wanted to tell Sadie that that they loved each other or something, and Steven walks out in the day as Lars, and Onion's kind of creeped out by it. It's really funny. And then Lars goes to Sadie's house, or Steven Lars goes to Sadie's house, and he messes everything up. And then Steven realizes what he did was wrong, and it hurt Lars. But at the end of the episode, Lars and Sadie make up, and Steven feels happy or something. That episode wasn't terribly interesting. And then the next one was Beach City Drift. It was alright. It definitely wasn't the best on the episodes of the week. Kevin comes back, and that makes Steven and Connie angry, so they fuse into Stevani and try to race him with a new car that Greg just bought, because he's a bazillionaire. And I found it weird how a 14-year-old and a 12 and 3/4-year-old, just 12-year-old, could even drive a car. It was really weird, but whatever. And anyway, they lose the race, but they finally have some closure on the whole Kevin situation. They were mad at him because he sexually harassed them, pretty much. That's pretty much the metaphor for what's happening there. And now Stevani / Steven and Connie feel better about it. That episode wasn't terribly interesting. However, we did finally get an antagonist who's going to stay an antagonist in the show and is not going to be redeemed, and in the form of Kevin. Now, it might not be an incredibly huge or interesting antagonist like Yellow Diamond or possibly Jasper, but it's an antagonist nonetheless. And let's see, that episode, like I said, wasn't incredibly interesting. Maybe it's just me, because I don't really like Connie episodes. It's just me. In fact, I kind of hate him, but this one was an exception. This episode was pretty good, but still definitely not the best of the week. Anyway, yeah. The entire week it had a plethora of good episodes. It was just a fantastic week, and I can't wait for week 2, seeing as Centipede will be returning, and possibly Jasper. And week 1 was a really fun week. Also, I think I seem to remember someone saying that the first week and a half would be about Steven reuniting with Beach City. I wonder who said that. This guy. I wonder who said that. Whatever, they were right. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next whatever it is episode, whatever it is, and watch week 2, because week 1 was awesome. I hope week 2 will be just as good or not better. Anyways, I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.